we're moving to the technology panel. And again, I'm thanking so much our esteemed panel members. And of course, Yael, the moderator. Thank you, Yael. Thank you very much. Okay, the technology panels. I'm inviting here everybody. The technology with all the education platforms and the latest news in call center technology. Come, guys. We're starting now because we want to end on time on 1 p.m. for the lunch and networking break. And then, don't forget, there's also a real lunch this afternoon in 3:50. And we have lots of stuff, interesting content. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start. Okay, Dan, Howard, with the suit. Okay, let's start. I'm starting this time from this side, and people, where are the education guys? It's now, someone needs to call, I believe, the education people. Ilana is also missing. Ilana and our friendly people from Traders Education. Here I see the friendly people from MT Media. Okay, let's start. So to the right of me, and I would advise if someone from the organizers can call Ran Cohen and Ilana, because both of them are missing here on the panel. Yes, we'll start. Oz Mustafa. Yesterday I had a phone call from the airport to let this guy inside, Oz Mustafa. I was in my home and they called me and... Okay, no problem. Okay, we're starting. So we have here first, to my right, yes, Karmit Mizrahi. Karmit Mizrahi, she was a jurist and an intern in my law firm, and she returned back as a lawyer, passed her exam with a very top grade recently last week. And here she is, fresh from the exam, here on stage, moderating our panel. Next, to the right, we have here Ofer Yahav. Ofer Yahav is one of the more famous people in this affiliate industry. And when people speak about affiliates who did it big time, people speak about WebPulse. WebPulse is a company very successful, affiliated with Excel Media, which is a public company listed on the London Stock Exchange, and I'm really happy to have here for the first time Ofer Yahav. Last year it was in Balavi, and I'm really happy to have here Ofer Yahav, VP Media of WebPulse. To the right, an esteemed colleague of our profession, even though he didn't study in Israel, he studied in South Africa, right? You'll hear it from his accent. He's also an entrepreneur. He's a partner in a very good restaurant in Tel Aviv, right? Soho, in Gordon 17, a very nice place with focus on vegetarian food. This is Howard Bick. He's a lawyer, but he's also in Optimove. Previously he was in Leverate. Now he's with Optimove, and I'm really happy to have him here. Not originally, it was Alon Tvina, but I'm still happy to have you. Yeah, not Alon Tvina. No problem. The next guy is Dan Ljubik. That's how I pronounce it? Yeah, Ljubik. Yeah, I'm trying to do the German accent, which won't work. And Dan is with Initel. Initel, we have many clients working with them. They have really good call center technology. They have good ideas and good facilities and good technology, how to convert and how can a call system get all of the newest facilities depending on geographically. I'm sure that he will speak and will let us know more and more. Then we have our friend Erez Shifron, directly, I believe he's the northern, he came from the northern tip of here, geographically a place here on the stage. He came from Rosh Pina. Even yesterday he was in my home in Tel Aviv. But what, you stayed here in Tel Aviv? Good, okay, I was thinking as if... So Erez Shifron is a very nice guy. He's from MT Media. MT Media is probably one of the two largest and most famous educational platforms. They have really unique opportunities and really unique solutions. And once... Yeah, can someone, our esteemed colleague Ran Cohen, someone can take care of Ran, please, with a chair. Or we'll be like the Eliyahu or something like that, that's fine. Okay, after Mr. Erez again, thank you for coming from Rosh Pina, and thank you. And then I have Ilana Yucha. In English you write it with a J, but it sounds better to say Yucha, right? Believe me, Yucha is good. So Ilana she's from Stat Market. Stat Market, again, the second time that that you're joining us for our event, and Ilana has really innovative solutions, not only on BI and what happened in the past, but also on predictive analysis, which I believe is far better, because it actually gives operators the ability to anticipate what will be happening with the player. Will it churn? What's its status? And Ilana's company has been a startup, but it's not a startup anymore. Very successful stock market. And again, I'm happy to have here Ilana with us on stage. Ilana, we have like 2 women now, which is good. Okay. It's not half-half, but okay. Last but not least, and I'm really happy that they found my friend a place to sit. And this is one of the more famous people, I believe, in the Forex and binary industries. There is no event outside of Israel that he is not a keynote speaker in. Normally he has a very nice presentation on introduction to Forex and binary. He teaches people how to get inside. And again, as I said, in this industry, there are very 2 dominant companies that give education to brokers, and I'm really happy. Of course, there are more, but these are, I believe, the most dominant. I believe that 2 of the reps will agree with me. And I'm really happy to have both of them here on stage, also good friends, and have complementary facilities. And here is Ran, which is the CEO of Traders Education. Thank you very much, Ran, and thank you for joining us.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Ilana, you would be the first one, since we are the only women around, so. Are you ready? So, I would like to ask you if buzzwords like big data and predictive analytics are hype or a reality?
Okay. In this connotation, I have to quote Dan Ariely. He said that big data and predictive analytics, it's like a teenage sex. You know, everyone talks about it, nobody knows how to do it, everyone claims it is doing it, okay? So, in reality, people that think that they have data which doesn't fit in the Excel spreadsheet, they think that they have big data. Unfortunately, they don't, and they have data. Big data is a common practice, guys like Twitter or Facebook, right? But doesn't matter. The data is important, however, the data is dumb. If we don't know how to look at the data lakes, we don't know what the data is, what it's telling us. And the common practice today is having BI tools and analyze the data and look at the past. You always see, oh, the average value is, the average practice is, and all the graphs look like this. Okay, so what we claim that should be done is to apply predictive algorithms in order to make sense out of the data, and then there is a value from the data when you predict who the persona is, what should be offered to the persona, what, to whom, when, and how, and why, then you are actually capable to do something with the data. Unfortunately, what is going on in the market, specifically in gaming, Forex, and binary markets, that many companies utilize only about 10% of data potential. And all the hype is quite, you know, it's a hype, it's not the reality. And people think that they gather the data, everyone can gather data today, and everyone can analyze it, but it's not enough. And I would really think that we could do best with that.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else want to refer the question? No? Okay. Howard, we are on the verge of 2016. It's weird for me to say. What would be the recommended customer acquisition and retention methods based on your field of activity? No.
Good morning, everybody. Acquisition and retention. They actually go very closely hand in hand. It never used to be, but as Ilana is saying, things are changing in the market. People have to be able to pay attention to what is happening in their own ecosystems, and data is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing at the moment. When we look at acquisition and what's the ideal form of acquisition, if you're gaming, Forex, binary, it's all very similar. It's to look and see basically at the lifetime value of your current users. seeing where they're coming from. Everybody's different. People look at different things about these players or traders in order to determine where the next best set is coming from. If we look at, say, the lifetime value of a Forex trader, when we're talking about acquisition, we need to know where he came from. And it's not as simple as he came from affiliate A or he came from SEO, marketing. It's who came from it. It's what they've done for us. Well, let's go more in depth as to who they are as a person so that we can understand, okay, so if affiliate A brought us 1,000 leads and 50 have converted, who are those 50? They're not just necessarily 50 from affiliate A. They may be a group of 50 who all have some common denominator. They have behavior that is showing that they have a higher tendency to convert. So when we start looking at retention, we start looking at where we're acquiring our users from. Look to see, is there an age gap? Is there a location? Is there a specific, if we go as deep as to what instruments they trade on? These are the things that allow us to really increase our acquisition by making sure that we're putting our money in the right place. And this takes us back to big data. It's understanding who your users are, where they came from, in order to identify who you're going to be able to take the highest value out of. We're all spending a lot of money on acquisition at the moment. I mean, if we look at statistics, the amount of new Forex, binary, and gaming brokerages or offices that are opening on a monthly or yearly basis, it's too high to focus purely on one thing and leave out the rest. So it's a broad question, but I think on acquisition, you really want to be paying attention to who your users are, where they're coming from in order to identify where you want to spend money in the future.
Ran, how are you? Okay, so our law firms usually accept like between 4 to 5 new customers each month of Forex, binary, iGaming, and so on. We see that at least 90% of them start with an educational module. It's either pre-recorded, live news, how to win, and so on. What do you think of this approach?
Well, first of all, hello everybody. I think education is becoming more and more out there for all brokers that are coming and that are launching. Brokers understand that to convert their traders better, they need to inherit some kind of confidence in their trading, and to make that, they need to educate them. Educated traders will live longer, their lifetime value will be higher, and the conversion process is a lot easier. You provide them something that enables them to understand that it's not just trading, it's an add-on to their life. You educate them on new eras, on new features, on new trading styles, and as long as you educate them more, this is how they come back and give it back for you, you know, in lifetime value. It's coming back to the broker all the time. So I think, yes, it's something which is very popular today. Every new broker is implementing an education center integrated in his website, and there he basically teach and educate his traders to come.
Perfect. Can you recognize? Yes, of course.
May I pose
Yes,
that?
of course.
Actually, I wanted to comment on your remarks, because in the acquisition funnel and actually retention, the prediction is a basis where actually the business value lies there. If we know what is the probability of a person to convert for a first deposit, and we can predict his lifetime value, real lifetime value, by the time he dies, we can optimize our marketing budget and funnel ourselves in sales and in marketing budget correctly. And it's very important to profile customers as well. We work on the individual basis, but we always can identify who the customer is going to be. What is the probability of him being a VIP or a bonus seeker or need education or self-implemented, likes risk, doesn't like risk? Things like that actually help marketers to to prepare the right offerings for those customers, right? While with predictive analytics, what we do, we don't just actually taking your marketing offers that you are preparing, my colleagues here, is that what he does?
Perfect.
We can actually match those offers to a certain persona in order to contact with him in a relevant and personal manner. Because, you know, George Bernard Shaw says the big problem with communication is an illusion that the message has been taken. And if we don't provide personalization and relevancy at the right time, it's useless. So in order to optimize all the budgets and be ROI-driven and data-driven, really, we need all these predictions in order to offer, you know, the best offer at the right time, right?
Perfect, thank you. Erez, as mentioned here, the vast majority of brokers will have education in their websites. Based on your experience, what kind of content is a must?
Well, education is a must, and it wasn't always a must. It became a must a few years ago, and it's a privilege for us to be from those who were the first to offer education. So over time, we've found that this changing all the time, and what was right a few years ago is not relevant anymore. I completely agree with what Ran just said, that it's all about building confidence in the traders. Traders need to be confident in order to open positions, in order to trade, in order to increase volume. I think where I disagree with Ran is what works for traders, what really builds the confidence. And I believe that, well, it's not just my belief, it's also what we've found with the experience, is that short content or short videos and brief information isn't really building confidence in the trader's mind. And in order to build the confidence, we need to provide them in-depth content. So if you're asking what type of content, I would say it's real content. Now, it's not enough to provide real content, and while few traders will watch a long video or a long course before they actually open an account. So for acquisition purposes, short videos are working really good. However, for retention purposes, short videos seems to be way less effective. You know, as the colleagues here from Optimove and my colleague here said, that you need to provide the right content to the right trader. So I have a question for you. What is the best retention approach from your research and from your experience works best for traders? I mean, what type of content?
So to repeat what Ilana said, the content has to be personalized. It's not specific to, okay, let's give everybody this because this works. This doesn't work. It needs to understand who each individual person is. Now, unfortunately, historically, when you have a large database, people avoid this because it's too much work to do it manually. You can't do it manually anymore. So everybody went to big data. What was the problem with big data? Nobody understood it. Well, the people that understood it were big BI teams, guys in industrial engineering, the guys who understood data. But this message had to be passed out to the users, to the traders. And the traders weren't identifying with what the messages that the marketer was sending. So what we're trying to do is to understand the user at a much deeper level. If you can understand them at a deeper level, understand what they want, when they want it, and understand how is the best way to provide it to them, then your message becomes dynamic. This person receives this in this method at this time on this day, while another person will receive a completely different message in a completely different channel. But what we're trying to do is make it so that it's simple to provide this message, because nobody wants to spend 3 days creating a complex marketing campaign that's going out to 10,000 people in the database and getting 150 people who read the email. So we're creating many groups. We create groups according to behavior, according to instruments traded, according to people who have unsubscribed from email. Okay, so now we have Facebook, we've got SMS, we've got push notifications, Twitter have opened up the channels, Google's opened up the channels. Everybody is going personalized. Now, if you can provide the right message, and this is where I agree with Ron, if the message is, I don't know how to trade, but I'm going to show you how to trade, then you've automatically captured somebody who you may not have captured before. It's important to be able to understand who needs the training and be able to provide that person with the training. Now, it may not be through a video, it may not be through an email, maybe it's by direct content, which is why we have our service departments. Have somebody pick up the phone and call somebody who's clicking on the videos, because that person doesn't understand where his money is going to go and what is going to happen to it once it's there. And that's where the informative news comes in. Promotions don't have to be bonuses and discounts. They can be informative news according to what that person understands and what interests them. This is where our clients have shown a massive increase in LTV and decrease in churn rates.
So basically you're saying that there is no the perfect approach. I mean, it must be individual for each trader.
Absolutely. This is what's working at the moment. It's becoming more automated as well. The future is automation, where your marketing campaigns will be created by a system, analyzing people in real time and shooting it out immediately as soon as they do something. Now, we do something of the sort, but technology is trying to catch up to our ideas now.
Well, yeah, this is actually one of the reasons why we have expanded our services. And if we used to offer just educational videos and ebooks and courses, now we also offer market research, for example.
Exactly.
News and technical analysis, chart analysis, and things like that to have the right solution for every type of trader.
Absolutely, and that's the direction I think most marketing is moving towards across the board. This is not Forex or binary or gaming related. This is the online world where people want content, they want information, they want it immediately, so that they can react to it. You haven't got time. There's too much competition to waste time on somebody. By the time you've got them, you've lost 4 other people to your competitors.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks. Dan, how are you? I'm great, thank you. In the world of call center communications, which is more your field, I guess, how can big data be used to increase conversions?
Okay. So first thing, we must understand that there's an unfathomable amount of data that exists within the call center of value. This data is generated every day, every hour, and every phone call. And most of the time, this data is not utilized. And it's not utilized because data doesn't mine itself. We mine it, we get it. And we also have to understand that most of the time, this data is unrealized. Its existence is unknown. And this data that is unmined and unknown is called dark data. And dark data exists for a wide array of reasons, of which lack of awareness, lack of resources, and a perceived lack of value. But data doesn't have inherent meaning. It doesn't have inherent value. It is us who assigns the data meaning, so it is us that assigns the data value. Now, for the purpose of this panel, I wanted to go beyond theory. I wanted to go straight to practice. I'm a very practical kind of guy. And so what I wanted to do was demonstrate mining data and extracting value from a typical call center phone system environment. So I went ahead and I harvested data from lotto, from gaming, from finance, to direct marketing, to insurance, an aggregate of call center data, all directed to the UK. And then I asked my data, it was a big data set, and I asked my data a question. I said, when is the best time to call the UK? When is the best time to having a meaningful conversation that will has the greatest chance of yielding into a conversion?
Must be the tea time, no?
What's that?
Must be the tea time.
It
no?
must be. It must be. And I figure surely there is value in that question. And surely there's value in that answer. And so first we have to define what a meaningful phone call is. What is a meaningful phone call? And so we figured that a meaningful phone call is a call that lasts greater than 2 minutes. Anybody can say I'm not interested in less than 2 minutes. All right? So we have a couple of variables. We know the time the call was placed. We know the duration of the call. And we know the aggregate of successful calls versus unsuccessful calls. And now we took this data and we plotted it over a 24-hour period. Now what did we find out? We found out that between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., was the highest concentration of meaningful conversations than any other time period of the day. Let me repeat that for a second. The most meaningful conversations, the conversations that have the greatest chance of yielding a conversion, happen between 10 and 12 in the morning. This is interesting to me. But still, I wanted more information. So we called one of our partners in Lotto, and I asked them the same question. During the day, when you market to the UK, when do you find the most of your sales occur? First of all, I put him directly in touch with his big data. No one asked him that question, so it took him a couple days to regurgitate that information. And sure enough, 47% of his sales were made during the same time period. 47%. Now think about it. If we know statistically when the best time to call one of our markets, when is the best time to run a voice broadcast, when is the best time to give our agents a lunch break? If your call center is in Israel and you're giving your call center agent a lunch break between the hours of 12 and 1, you're missing this hour of power. And this is data of extreme value. And any uptick in sales, any uptick in performance, you can directly attribute it to your data mining effort. We have assigned the data meaning, we have assigned the data value. And if we could leave with just understanding that by giving this data meaning, we're more likely to go mine this data and more likely to turn dark data into real data.
Thank you so much for your inspiring. I believe that Ilana really wants to. I know. I can see.
Since we are dealing with, with the data in different markets, and call center is definitely one of the predictive analytics tasks, I would like to emphasize what Dan said. It's enormous importance to analyze the data from the call center, because actually, just curious for gaming guys, it was a company that we were predicting when the VIP customers are going to convert, and they found out that it was happening, it will be happening at 5 a.m. At 5 a.m. they had no support center at all. Once we have predicted this and they started to actually put the right efforts at this time, they succeeded to convert much more people. So it's very important, and another stuff that you can do with all this, it's prioritize your calls to the people with the potential high-value customers. And it's just one company that we just work with, they just cut their call center by half. Because out of 180 people, we showed them that they need only 90. Because everyone else should be taking care of email nurturing and not call centers. So it's a tremendous importance to do this with the call centers. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Ofer, last but not least, how as an affiliate, WebPulse is collecting and analyzing data sources that are usually coming in different formats from hundreds of B2B customers?
Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to ask Ilana, please don't call me at 5 a.m. We are diverting traffic, I guess, from dozens of channels, and we are working with hundreds of clients. These clients are each one have their own approach regarding data. Each one is providing us different attribution and different classifications across the data. So we have a really changing approach from each customer regarding the data he's providing us. What we are doing is basically developing tools that utilizing this data into our data warehouse and then translate it into our campaign optimization method. So it's, I can say it's easy, but we need to translate every customer given provided data into our language, I could say, and then give it back or send it back to our advertising platforms. This is what our technology are doing. This is the tools and the attribution models they are working on, basically.
It's not a secret that lately you went public. Okay, and I would like to ask, what are the benefits of going public, if you can explain, please?
So, as a mediator, as an affiliate, before we went public, I guess it was like 2.5 years ago or so, our expectation, or the public expectation from us, was basically non-existent. But now, as we have some expectation from the public, they expect from us to be more technology-based, more data-driven, and also we have to provide reports and data for the investors. So we have to have strong technology based on our activity, on our operation. So as a media department, we are happy to go public because now the expectation tells the company to work on technology, to work on data, to be more data-driven. So this is how we are. This is our benefit as a department.
To all of you, but I would like to start with Ran because I didn't hear you for too long. What will be the new trends and innovative technological solutions that we are likely to see in the near future?
Well, from our side, education and marketing, first of all, on brokers where you can see they're a little bit more grown up, we see their desire to be unique. They're looking for uniqueness all the time, something to differentiate themselves from the industry. I don't think short or big movies will make the difference. I think what they're looking for is something of their own. Something that they can say, this is mine, this is all me, and only mine. And this is something that we see a lot with them. We've recently launched a broadcast technology where we can basically transfer every website to his own television screen, to his own television channel, and create relevant content which is uniquely for each and every broker. So for your questions, in the next few years, again, I think data and big mass data is definitely a way that people are going to convert and get their acquisition cost lower. Customizing and personalizing videos inside these offers, I think, can get you a lot in the conversion, where you can present, instead of just content, present it on a video format, very focused video format. And I think that technology products are going to come in, such as something that goes here, maybe a combined one, to help brokers get better conversions, better retention, to generate a longer lifetime value.
Thank you. Dan?
I just want to add something really interesting. And this is something that I think we all struggle with our leads. If you look around the room and you glance at how many people are looking at their mobile phone, okay? And we're all doing it. In fact, I'm looking at my watch while I'm talking. We're all glancing at our phone. To get someone's attention, to open our emails, to fill out our landing pages, to get their attention is becoming increasingly more difficult. The channels that need to be opened have to be multifaceted. They need to come in from all different angles. I think one of the challenges in technology is that we're going to have to aggregate our communication methods. We have to understand that when we send an email out, that person has 25 other emails in his box. And if you're like me, you have 1,000 unread. And they select all marked as read. How do you compete with that? And so if we can get everybody by the voice channel, by the SMS channel, through OTTs, through other means, we have to find out where our people are, where they're spending their days, and make sure that our message is being communicated through a multi-channel. I think one of the challenges going forward is making sure that our message is being communicated across the spectrum.
Well, I completely agree with you. I mean, mobile is definitely the future. I mean, this is where the industry goes. I mean, more and more, we see more and more trades are done through mobile, and obviously the marketing through mobile getting stronger and stronger every day. But this is micro, and if we were talking about the macro, we want to see what's in the future. I believe that it's retention. I mean, I see so many young companies who are saying things like, let's bring traffic in and let's convert them and let's do the FTDs. And then later on, in a few months' time, in a year, let's start working on retention. And it's a huge mistake. I mean, your ROI sits in the retention. So we all talked about tools for retention. But I think that in the future, it will become one of the most important stuff and tools that the company will look for.
Just one more piece.
Last word for you.
Going back to the data real quickly, we found a couple of very interesting things. Firstly, for example, your outgoing phone number, the number that actually leaves your phone system. You know that phone number has a expiration date. It gets tired. You're acting for retention. They see your phone number, that I don't want to speak to him today, and they throw your call away. Pulling metrics out, we find that if you refresh your phone number, if you have multiple phone numbers you're sending out as, you have a higher chance of even making that communication. And again, by saying that conversation has a direct correlation to conversion, we need to be able to communicate with our leads and with our retention. And obviously, if you've already spent the money in marketing, and now you have to do the retention, of course, there's where your money is. But it's very important to make sure you have the right tools to communicate properly. So one, they answer your phone call, and two, you have a meaningful conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the inspiring information. Have a great day and enjoy Tel Aviv. Thank you.